consistent democracy will be highly jeopardized if the electioneering process is marred by corruption, deceit, and bribery, thereby breeding injustice and political instability. The election management is agreeably the most sensitive process in a democracy, and it is expected that the umpire shoulder the election management is agreeably the most sensitive process in a democracy, and it is expected that the umpire shouldered with such important and sensitive responsibility must have transparency and rule of law as his or her beacon. This is in order to produce a credible outcome or result. The Cross River North Senatorial District election held on December 5th, 2020 will stand out as dark era in the annals of election conduction in Nigeria. The INEC involvement and actions in the said election amounts to a total decampment from the electoral process and is nothing short of standing the law on its head.
It's off.
The PDP primaries for the December 5th election was held on November 5th, 2020, according to the provisions of the Electoral Act. The primary election was held and all requirements according to the electoral provisions were put in place, including the presence of INEC Chief Observer and the local government EOs. The party electorates voted overwhelmingly to elect Senator Steven Odey as winner. The closing runner-up with a high margin, Honorable Jaribe Agom, on seeing his loss, walked away before the end of the elections. His exit notwithstanding, the party concluded the primaries with Senator Steven Odey declared winner, and his name was duly submitted to INEC. Honorable Jaribe, exercising his legal rights, challenged the outcome of the primaries in a federal high court in Calabar, and on December 3rd, 2020, the court struck out his claim as lacking merit. The INEC was compelled by this to issue Senator Odey a Form EC9, which he filled, swore to, and returned to INEC via the party. The senatorial election was held on the 5th December 2020, and after the election, Senator Steven Odey came out on top with a high margin and a total vote of 129,207 votes to beat his closest rival, Joe Agi, the APC candidate, who scored 19,165 votes. And subsequently, INEC issued Senator Odey with a certificate of return. The intrigues and desperation of INEC and Honorable Jaribe did not end with the election, as they, in connivance with one Chief John Alaga, a close friend of Honorable Jaribe, who now filed an isolated matter in FCT High Court, Abuja, purportedly to challenge the qualification of Honorable Jaribe, his friend, whom he mischievously referred to as the winner of the primaries in the motion, stating that his certificates are questionable and as such not qualified to run for the election. The court, ignorant of the real status of Honorable Jaribe and treating the matter on its face value, dismissed the certificate issue as it was not proved beyond reasonable doubt intentionally by the conspiring ally, Chief Alaga. INEC, in an open bias and acting in grievous error, hurriedly issued another certificate of return to Honorable Jaribe without recourse to their election records. It is worthy to note that neither Senator Steven Odey nor the PDP was joined as party in the said suit. This unfolding comic drama, being directed by the INEC chairman, has in its characters a stranger with a strange interest. If not, how else would one describe the sudden interest of Governor Wike in the internal politics of Cross River North Senatorial District? The enormous size of blunder presently going on display is an indication that an equivalent size in sum is passing as bribe under the table. It is obvious where the funding for this democratic blunder is coming from. We are not unaware of the relationship between Governor Wike and the INEC chairman, dating back to many years of close affiliation. Wike should face the task of governing River State and desist from stirring trouble all over the country just to find his vice presidential ambition. He has a right to aspire to any elective office, but that will not be at the detriment of societal peace and collective interests of the country. Questions for INEC chairman. 1. Which party submitted the name of Honorable Jaribe to INEC as its candidate for the 5th December 2020 by-election as required by the electoral law? Which party? 2. Did Honorable Jaribe fill any form EC9 as mandated by Section 31 of the electoral law? 3. On 285, subsection 13 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it states, and I quote, "No tribunal or court shall declare anybody winner of an election when he has not participated in all the various stages of election." Did INEC have the name of Honorable Jaribe on the list of candidates for the senatorial election by-election on 5th December? These are pertinent questions and Nigerians demand answers. The instrument being peddled by Honorable Jaribe is a strange court judgment obtained in an isolated matter between him and his friend Chief Alaga that has no relationship whatsoever with the senatorial election won by Senator Steven Odey or the primaries as conducted by the PDP for that election. The court order is obtained in a case between Honorable Jaribe and Chief John Alaga without PDP or the election winner, Senator Steven Odey, being joined as parties. There is no judgment or order of court issued by any court anywhere in Nigeria nullifying the position and candidacy of Senator Steven Odey. I challenge anyone to produce such order or judgment. All the judgments so far declared in this matter, both at the High Court and the Court of Appeal, were all in favor of Senator Steven Odey, and both judgments are subsisting. There has not been any counter judgment from any court in the country till now. No court at any level ordered INEC to issue Honorable Jaribe with another certificate of return, nor did any court direct that Honorable Jaribe should be sworn in as the senator representing Cross River North Senatorial District. Honorable Jaribe, on national television yesterday, being the 14th March 2020, told the whole country that he has secured his swearing in for Tuesday, 16th March. As according to him, he has his report sitting on the Senate President's table. His statement further indicates his desperation and connivance with some dark forces to truncate our democratic gain and values in the National Assembly. Any action by INEC or anybody whatsoever based on the purported judgment is tantamount to usurping the powers of the judiciary and the recipe for anarchy. This rascality and open bias by INEC in this matter can only mean one thing: that a personal interest is trying to override a public interest. And we, as watchdog of democracy, cannot sit down. We cannot sit down and watch democratic principles truncated by anyone, no matter how highly placed. We demand that the INEC chairman should retrace his steps immediately in his present action of subversion of justice. We also demand that a high-level commission of inquiry be set up to measure the culpability of the INEC personnel involved in this. This action has become a source of international embarrassment to our electoral system and our nation at large. We commend the resilience, transparency, and commitment of the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, PhD, and the principal officers of the 9th Senate for standing for justice and rule of law at this point of our democratic history. The Senate President's dismissal and refusal to implement the demands of Honorable Jaribe is an indication of strength of character and patriotism. Posterity will remember you for standing with the people in our country's quest for democratic excellence. Finally, we call on Senator Steven Odey to disregard the distractions and actions of Honorable Jaribe and INEC and concentrate on his duty of giving the Cross River North Senatorial District the excellent representation they deserve. Comrade Chijo Konyekong, Coordinator, Network for Democratic Watchdogs of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
This matter. As organizations that have been collaborating with INEC for over a decade, we find it rather saddening. We find it as something that is strange in our national history. That in the last 6 days, Honorable Jaribe has been on national TV, he has been on Facebook, he has been on all forms of social media, dailies, saying that he's going to be sworn in on Tuesday. This is sad, very terrible situation. A man who did not contest an election. If we refer you again to section 365, section 365, subsection 13 of the Electoral Act 1999 as amended, what we are saying essentially is that it states clearly that no court or tribunal shall swear in or declare anybody who has not participated in all these various stages of election winner of that election. What we are saying is that Honorable Jaribe did not participate in that election. We wonder why the man is busy junketing from one court to the other. These are courts that do not even have jurisdiction over this matter. Ironically, he has even convinced some honorable members to support him, in the quest of coming to become a senator. Whereas those honorable members probably are not even aware that the same man himself did not even contest an election. Our worry here is that there is jeopardy about to take place in this country. If we allow this criminal act to be perpetrated in Nigeria, where you ambush people, you did not and you never contested an election, you ambush people, wait for them, and go to courts that do not even have jurisdiction, get a fictitious judgment, and go to muzzle INEC to issue you with a certificate of return. Even when no court in Nigeria has declared you that a certificate of return should be issued to you. No court in Nigeria has declared that a certificate of return should be issued to Honorable Jaribe. No court in Nigeria has ever voided the certificate of return that is being held by Senator Odey. So what is happening in the country where we allow people like Honorable Jaribe to be gallivanting all over the place because he has so much money to throw around? And we know that every Nigerian is not subject to corruption. Every Nigerian cannot be corrupt. It is pertinent we stop Honorable Jaribe from this. Even the honorable members who ironically are supporting him are not even aware of the danger. Tomorrow some other person is going to also come to contest their own seats with them. What this is crazy. People are laughing at Nigeria. Somebody did not contest an election and he is there, muzzling somebody who contested. Please, I want to ask a question. What is the offense of Senator Steven Odey? What is his offense? The offense of Senator Odey is that he duly contested the primary and won. He duly went for an election and won that election. And INEC issued him a certificate of return and he was sworn in as a senator. Somebody who did not from nowhere just came into the scene and wants to take over and become a senator. Meanwhile, he is a serving House of Rep member. Come on, can't you sense that something is really wrong? Something is really wrong. The democracy of this country that was earned through a very hard means Somebody is busy wanting to truncate it and mess it up. And ironically, the same person is gallivanting, junketing from one court to the other, telling lies on oath. That man called Honorable Jaribe is not fit to be an honorable. He should be derobed and removed and jailed to put in prison because he's busy lying on oath. He's lying on oath, telling lies to courts, telling lies to INEC, telling lies to even the National Assembly members. If he knows he did not contest an election, why is he busy muzzling everybody that he is the candidate, that he has a certificate of return? If that is the case, then everybody should stop contesting for an election. Just go and ambush somebody, and then you get one kangaroo judgment. Then you go and threaten INEC to issue you with a certificate of return, even when they've not even seen the judgment. You take a certificate of return and then you say that the Senate President should swear you in. See, we want to commend the Senate President for his doggedness. We commend the Senate President Ahmed Lawan for insisting on the truth. We are aware that some persons that work in the National Assembly are already compromised because they have received money to do evil and kill Nigeria. We refuse that Nigeria should be killed. We refuse that people like Jaribe should be junketing up and down and putting the democracy of Nigeria in jeopardy. We refuse. Please, thank you so much.